invite Sajin to share his perspective with the background from being at Oracle. Thank you. Sorry. Yes. My other left.
Good afternoon, everyone. All right, I'll give you a little bit of context before I get started. So Oracle Utilities is, I guess most people have probably heard of Oracle. Oracle Utilities is a separate line of business within Oracle. We only work on utilities. That's our bread and butter. We've got our own research and development team. We've got our own marketing team. We don't really, we work alongside big Oracle, but we really are very separate in many ways. We're about 2,600 people. We've got about 2,600 clients around the world. Just to give you some context, in India, we do about 20% of India's billing on our platforms. And although we're not making any announcements on this front, hopefully you'll hear about the largest smart meter project, and you'll hear hopefully the right name associated with that. That's as much as I can probably say. How are you doing with getting that presentation up, my friend? Almost there?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure if technology, I love it. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit about what I was going to talk about.
So actually, in the interest of time, since we don't want you to repeat,
yeah.
Do you want to just hold off a second and let's call?
Well, if you can get it up, then yeah, sure.
I'm not sure how long it might take.
Okay, why don't I give the floor to somebody else? Is that with you? Right?
Do you want to
Thank you for flexibility. Apologies for that.
Open to हो रही है.
That was what I gave the guy already.
So is there, since I don't have the details, someone who doesn't have a PowerPoint, is there someone who's speaking without a PowerPoint? Well, yes. Yes. By choice or by design?
If you want, they have PowerPoint on the key.
No, it's the computer.
It's, I think, the computer.
Why don't you try the PDF?
So we'll jump, meanwhile, well, I think the answer was most people have a presentation which is helpful with information, numbers, and data. So we'll hold off while they're, yes.
Can we change the computer?
Rebooting, perhaps. So meanwhile, I'm going to throw out the question to the audience. We've heard a lot about systems level being the need, and thank you for bringing back the customer as one component of the system. From an Indian smart grid perspective, technology is there. I think, how many of us think there's more work that needs? It's back. So we'll, yes. So handing it back over to.
Yeah, I'll just continue because I started, so I may as well stop. One little bit of additional information is I used to run a company called O-Power. I was the MD for Asia, and that's a company that Oracle acquired. And that company was at the forefront of customer experience using big data analytics and behavioral science to talk to your customer. So everything you said, Eric, actually, I think you stole some of my slides. Very good. But what do Indian customers talk to me about today? When I go out to the field, they're at, so obviously smart meters, but then it's the whole customer experience. How are we going to engage with them? And really what we want as utilities is how do we sell to them, right? So these are some of the things I wanted to just address. Sorry, can I just, onto this? Right. The problem is it a, yeah, which one? This side? Okay, thanks. Yeah, so the problem that most of our customers are facing is, look, we've already got a lot of data, and we're just about to embark upon a journey to produce even more. So how are we going to, how are we going to do that? Now, what are some of the problems with that data? One of the problems is that we don't have the people to really understand what to do with that data. The right, the data scientists. There just is a dearth of people. I don't know how you guys feel here, but there's a dearth of opportunity. Can you hear? What's up? Oh, you can't see. Okay. I'm sorry. Is that better? Yeah, I was trying to hide from being so small, you know, because it's like you can't see me here.
I'll beat you at that.
Okay, I got some competition. Okay, so one of the problems is that the systems aren't scalable. Second thing is that, you know, everyone working in those kind of silos. Three, the biggest problem I find is that there just isn't the right skills in the country, despite having, you know, 1.2, 1.3 billion people and really smart people. There's just not enough investment in that. So what we're doing, for example, is looking at centers of excellence. We have, you know, 300 engineers, you know, sitting in Hyderabad who only focus on utilities. We've got a data scientist, you know, division that do, you know, data science as a service to help India. So we're trying to change our own model to see how we can help utilities here. But, you know, the problem is not going to go away. In fact, the problem is going to become even more compound, right? It's going to get compounded because the amount of data that we're starting to see, you know, as we start to do these large meter rollouts, and as you can see, all the different devices in IoT, you know, it's going to become, you know, a major, major issue. So, you know, my kind of takeaway from this is, and obviously speaking from a kind of, you know, a systems type of perspective, is you need to plan for scalability, right? And that means not just the systems, but also the people. You need to look at that roadmap. But once you've got your systems bedded in, you really need to look at, you know, how do you manage, you know, all of that infrastructure? Because, you know, I still feel that we do projects in India almost like IT projects. They're very isolated. It's like, I've got this little thing to do, I'm going to do it. But it doesn't take heed in terms of that longer term journey and the integration, right? And then all the people and the disruption and, you know, the change management. So we overlook a lot of those things. I don't know why we do it, but we just keep on doing that same thing. And then we're talking about smart meters. We're talking about, you know, the value of being able to, you know, look at revenue loss as well as looking at, you know, how do I manage those devices? But we're not talking about, well, what are the bigger benefits that we're looking at? So for example, truck rolls, customer experience, you know, cross-sell, upsell, integrated omni-channel. You know, we're not really talking about those things enough. So that's what I find when I'm out there in the field. And so, you know, very simply, you know, before we get into those large deployments, we need to look at pre-deployment. We need to look at, you know, what kind of data quality. I think, you know, you asked earlier, you know, what can we plan for? Well, you know, it's, whilst you're just starting those smaller pilots or smaller rollouts, why are you ignoring handling the data that you've got from your existing meters? Why are you not getting your processes in place now before you get hit by this massive volume? Why are you not building your teams ready for what's about to come? Why are you not building what your customer's expectation is and how they want to be engaged before you really hit, you know, your 5 million meters, your 10 million meters, your 250 million meters, you know? So it's all of those things that we see. And then obviously as you're doing the rollout, you're going to get new problems, right? You're going to find that some of those meters as you're rolling out are faulty out the box. They don't work. There's different suppliers of meters. You're trying to get them to talk to you, trying to get a consistent interface. You're going to find, people are going to find this is an opportunity for further theft. Their behaviors are going to change. They're going to find new ways of stealing compared to the old ways, right? And then, you know, that integration journey, like I said. So, you know, here's, you know, and this is probably the only product slide I wanted to, and I apologize for it in advance. We couldn't come up with something more creative. But, you know, it is the one thing that Oracle has done, you know, and I'm an acquiree. They acquired the company I work for. One thing that Oracle has done very well in the industry is to, you know, is to kind of buy different companies who provide best of breed and integrate them together. So it's by no accident that OPAR was bought by Oracle, because we were the leaders in, you know, the whole customer experience journey. And that's the same in things like, you know, outage management and, you know, managing your assets, you're managing your devices, et cetera, et cetera. If you're not looking at those things, you're just kind of doing a little silo project, and it could not really give you the levels of benefit that you really want. So I want to share maybe a couple of other things around the whole customer experience, just last couple of slides. You know, here's something that we're looking at, right? So these are kind of, you know, products that we're currently trying to build. And this is that whole kind of omni-channel experience. But this time, it's for your staff, right? So, you know, I'm a call center agent. I'm getting someone calling me up. They're a bit irate because they've had an outage. And you've got 5 different screens or 5 different systems to look at, and you can't make sense of what to tell the customer. That customer experience is going to be horrible because you're delaying them. You're not getting to the point. You're not able to tell them what problems they've had or how they call, what happened the last time they spoke to you, right? Or what communication went out, or what was the outage about? Why did it happen? And what are you doing about it? When's your next truck roll going out? If you cannot tell the customer that, you're gonna dilute that customer experience. In fact, you might even irritate the customer. Now, they're gonna be stuck with you as a utility, but maybe not forever, right? And in other markets, we've seen, where, customers do have a choice, right? So here's something that we're doing here. You probably can't see it on the screen, but what you've got is you've got the chat that's going on. Somebody's gone onto a website. They've tried to look for something. There's been some chat. They've been referred to a physical agent. That physical agent can pick up from where that consumer left off. The agent can see every type of interaction. They can see when the bill went out, when they had an outage or an incident, what marketing materials went out. They can do a normative comparative. They can compare your bill and your usage against your neighbors of a similar size of house. They can do a comparison of you against your previous month's billing. They can give you that insight. So it's very personalized. So it's a personalized insight that gets you engaged. And then you can ask them the kind of questions that you want to ask, right? So this is a journey that we normally take customers on, right? You tell them something that's useful. Hey, you're going to get a smart meter. This is the reason why we're doing it. These are the benefits you're going to get. Then we give them some value. Oh, your bill looks to be trending a little bit high. Oh, that's a value. I really like that. I can do the same message on SMS, on web, on mobile, or email, whichever, channel I choose to. Customer likes it. They sometimes prefer one channel over another. Then we continue using that channel. We're learning about them, right? We then get them engaged in a program, right? So, for example, peak time, right? The summer months are coming, and we want to tell customers, how to be sensible with their energy usage. And really, what we want to do is to enroll them into a program where we can get far better data and far better insights and provide that kind of value to eventually get to a point where we can cross-sell, upsell, which is at the top of that curve. That's really what we're trying to do. And this is how O-Power engages its customer and give that beautiful customer experience. So, as an example, we've been doing it for the last 18 months with 3 million people in Calcutta, where we announced this morning, an MOU with, Reliance, for Delhi to do energy efficiency using the same technology. And, and here's my last slide. It's a bit busy, but really this shows the customer's experience, where we take them through that journey, give them something of value, give them different tariffs to look at in terms of if they want to go to solar, and then finally getting to a point where we've got them engaged and we can give them some advice in terms of how to really use that solar properly. So that's the kind of most of the messages I had. It's a fantastic time to be here in India. I think the opportunities and how the market is going to change, but I do wish that we really step back a little bit and think about all the problems that we had during RAP, DRP, and all the problems that we generally have with projects, and really plan for it. That's all I ask.